We are living in a timeline where PlayStation have released all PS1 games to their online catalog and introduced trophies to give them a new lease of life. For instance, Ape Escape, Twisted Metal, Cool Borders, Smooth Daughters, Crude Crawders, and Moogle Schmorders. I hope you don't think they're real. Most of these games included trophy support, and you know that's what I'm about. So together I put together a wish list of PS1 games that need trophy support. The games that I'm talking about today are ones from my childhood that I remember fondly, and games that I feel like would benefit having trophy support. Let me know in the comments what games you think I missed, and let's get into the video today.
Spike, go towards the ocean this time.
So a little something about me is I love card games, and I think my love for these kinds of games didn't come from Mario Kart. They came from N64 classic Diddy Kong Racing and the classic PS1 game called Speed Freaks.
Hey! Who's driving me? No! Not the dog!
Now, Speed Freaks was released in 1999 for the original PlayStation. Speed Freaks, or Speed Punks if you're in North America, was developed by Funcom Dublin and published by Sony Computer Entertainment, and let me tell you, this game was unhinged in the best way. Every racer looked like they crawled out of a Saturday morning cartoon after chugging 5 cans of Surge. Now their attitude, it was cranked to 11, and no, their eyes do not blink. The tracks were absolute madness. Loops, lava pits, cityscapes, jungle chaos, and somehow they all kinda made sense. So for power-ups you had rockets, mines, and this weird bouncing orb that had one mission: to ruin your day. And don't even get me started on the AI, it rubber banded harder than a 90s slap bracelet. Now this game had split screen, and as you know, split screen was the ultimate friendship tester. If somebody hit you with a missile right before the finish line, you remembered. But despite the fun, the charm, and the speed, it didn't exactly light up the charts. The game didn't sell well at all, barely making a blip in a world dominated by Mario Kart and Crash Team Racing. It was a hidden gem stuck between two titans. Still, Speed Freaks built a cult following. People who played it, they loved it. It was fast, it was chaotic, and it was one of the slickest kart races you would ever need. So anyway, that's my introduction for the game and why I love it so much. And I thought a nice little idea for this video would be if I came up with some trophy ideas using some of the mechanics from the game. So here's trophy idea number 1, Speed Junkie. Win a race using boost pads at least 15 times in a single track. Number 2, Orbital Menace. You should hit 3 different races of a single bouncing energy orb. Number 3, Clean Freak. Win a race without using any weapons. Number 4, Mine Games. Place a mine and have someone drive into it 1 second later. So like I mentioned earlier, I think the AI in this game was a little rubber banded. So how about the trophy name Rubber Band Snapped? So you should go from last place to first place in the final lap. So in this game you can explode while using the turbo, so I thought of Turbo Toast, explode while using a turbo boost. So for this last trophy I had an idea because they probably would have to change the layout of the controller if it was going to be on the PS5, so I thought we could have a section where we could switch it back to the original PS1 controller layout, and I would call this trophy OG Freak. That's for playing the game using the classic PS1 controller layout. I think at the time when this game came out you didn't need analog sticks. So that was Speed Freaks, the kart racer that lived fast and unfortunately sold slow. So this next one is actually 3 games, and it's a Tekken PS1 Trilogy, a fist-flying soap opera in 3 acts.
Cat flap win. Secretary win.
So Tekken number 1, released in 1994. Welcome to the King of Iron Fist tournament where family therapy is solved with flying kicks. The OG that started it all. Tekken 1 introduced the world to a 3D fighting game with polygonal people and punches that looked like they hurt your soul. You got a roster of wild martial artists, a whole bunch of mysterious backstories, and of course, Heihachi Mishima, the world's angriest dad. You play as Kazuya, Heihachi's son, and yes, that Kazuya that was thrown off a cliff by his dad. Now also in this pack should be Tekken 2 from 1995, more fighters, more drama, more cliff throwing. When Tekken 2 released, they said let's make it bigger, crazier, and even more confusing. It introduced new characters like Lei Wulong, aka Jackie Chan, Jun Kazuma, Kazuya's future baby mama, and devil form lore that started to make the story feel like a martial arts anime mixed with a telenovela. In the second game, Kazuya is now in charge of the Mishima Sabatsu, and he becomes even worse than his dad, and starts tossing people off cliffs. Heihachi's like, not on my watch, climbs back up, and it's father versus son. Again. Fantastic game, I love that one so much. Now for the last game in the pack, Tekken 3 from 1997. So this one is a new generation, but same family drama, but now with better abs. Enter the PlayStation masterpiece Tekken 3. It's where the series exploded in popularity. Better graphics, smoother gameplay, and a time skip that gave us a new protagonist, Jin Kazama, the brooding, serious grandson caught in the never-ending Mishima civil war. It introduced fan favorites like Hurang, Eddie Gordo, Ling Zhao, and the breakdancing madness that is capoeira. Also Tekken Force Mode, a mini beat 'em up, and Gon, a tiny fire-breathing dinosaur. Meanwhile, an ancient fighting god named Ogre starts wrecking fighters, absorbing powers, and probably skipping leg day. Jin eventually unlocks his devil gene and the cycle of Mishima family rage continues. So to explain these games in one simple quip, Tekken 1, Dad threw me off a cliff. Tekken 2, I threw Dad off a cliff. Tekken 3, I'm your son and your grandson, let's fight. Now you might be saying, hey, Tekken 2 is on Sony's servers, and I say yes, but they did not include trophies on these games, so here are some ideas. Now for Tekken 1, I thought of father issues. You should defeat Heihachi with Kazuya in arcade mode. Iron Fist, Polygon Soul, beat arcade mode with every character. The cliffhanger, watch the ending cutscene of Kazuya throwing Heihachi off the cliff. And Tekken Tryhard, complete arcade mode without losing a single round. Now some ideas for Tekken 2. Devil Inside, unlock and play as Devil. Flawless Cliff, win arcade mode with both Heihachi and Kazuya. Law and Order, defeat Kazuya with martial law in under 20 seconds. Hidden Mishimas, unlock every hidden character like Roger, Alex, and Devil. Perfectly Dysfunctional, win a 10-fight survival as Kazuya without taking a round of damage. That one would be pretty hard. Now finally some ideas for Tekken 3. Legacy of Rage, defeat Ogre with Jin in arcade mode. Dance of Destruction, win a match using only capoeira moves with Eddie Gordo. Tiny but Deadly, win a match as Gon. Tekken Force Enforcer, complete Tekken Force mode without using continues. Jack of all Tekken, play as every character in practice mode. And Devil Gene activated, unlock Jin's alternative ending, Devil Jin transformation. I love these games a lot and I really feel like they would benefit from trophy support. So please PlayStation put them in the Tekken Trilogy. Next up is the Spider-Man games. Spider-Man from the year 2000. He does whatever a PlayStation can.
Swing from buildings, shoot webs, bring down the bad guys. And for the first time ever, you have all his cool spider powers.
Jim, the garbage isn't gonna take itself out.
You don't just play it, you live it.
Jim?
Spider-Man the game.
Released in 2000 by Neversoft, yeah, the Tony Hawk guys, and published by Activision. This was the first 3D Spider-Man game that actually felt like a comic book come to life. You had narration by Stan Lee, swinging over rooftops, crawling on walls, and webbing up baddies with grace. The story, pure Saturday morning cartoon energy. There's Venom, Doc Ock, Carnage, Black Cat, Scorpion, and even the Human Torch. There's even a fake Spider-Man causing chaos, an evil plot involving symbiotes, and a final chase where you're running from a fusion-powered Carnage Doc Ock monster that sounds like a broken blender. Now, did this game sell well? Yes, it sold over 2.1 million copies on PS1 alone. It was a huge hit and helped revive Spider-Man in gaming after some, let's say, less amazing 90s attempts. Now for Spider-Man 2, enter Electro from 2001. Great power, mediocre sequel. Developed by Vicarious Visions and also published by Activision. This one picked up right after the first game. This time the big baddie is Electro, who's trying to become a god using a device called the Bio-Nexus. Yes, it's as made up as it sounds. You still get rooftop action, more daytime levels, and some cool boss fights, including Hammerhead, Shocker, Sandman, and Electro's final form. He kinda looks like he lost a fight with a lightning bolt and a rave party. Did it sell well? It did okay, nowhere near like the first. It sold about 500,000 to 600,000 copies. Not a flop, but not a blockbuster either. It also suffered from a lower budget and being rushed out. But I still enjoyed this game an awful lot. There's some great attention to detail in these games. For instance, in the first game, if you were idle too long, Spider-Man starts mocking the player. And it's also a great touch that Stan Lee narrates the game. So the interesting thing about Spider-Man 2 is the original final battle took place on top of the Twin Towers. They had to redesign the entire ending after the 9/11 attacks. So to sum these two games up, Spider-Man from the year 2000, a fan favorite, web-slinging comic book simulator with killer villains and legendary narration. And it was a huge success. Spider-Man 2, on the other hand, a decent sequel with more villains and powers, but it lost a bit of that Neversoft magic. Now I got some trophy ideas for these games too. So for the first Spider-Man game, fog is lava. Fall into the fog during a rooftop level. Sticky fingers. Web up 10 enemies in a single level without using punches or kicks. Super Symbiote Slayer. Defeat your first symbiote enemy. Friendly Neighborhood Ninja. Complete a stealth section without taking damage. And last but not least, Ultimate Web Warrior. Complete the game on What If mode. I like this trophy because in What If mode you can see Jameson with lobster claws. Now for Spider-Man 2. Grounded again. Fall off a building in the first daytime rooftop mission. Shocker Therapy. Defeat Shocker without taking a hit from his shockwave attack. Batteries not included. Use the electric web to shock 5 enemies in one level. The Collector returns. Collect every hidden costume and comic book cover. So in games, I love trophies where you have to collect things, especially if they are meaningful. So I think this would be a perfect trophy to add to your list. So I don't know whether this next one's going to be controversial because we got remasters of these games, but I would love the originals to be released with trophy support. And those games are the Crash Bandicoot Trilogy on the PS1.
今度の主役はこんなやつ 3D オクスロールアクションクラッシュバンディクーしかも4パッチ
So the original Crash Bandicoot from 1996, the birth of the Bandicoot and Sony's accidental mascot, developed by Naughty Dog and published by Sony. Crash Bandicoot introduced us to everyone's favorite pants-wearing, crate-mashing, unintelligibly yelling fuzzball. You play as Crash, a genetically enhanced Bandicoot who escapes from the evil Dr. Neo Cortex and must rescue his girlfriend Tawna by spinning through islands, avoiding TNT boxes, and somehow surviving platforms made entirely of floating logs. Now for the sales. Over 6.8 million copies were sold worldwide. It was a massive hit and helped solidify the PlayStation as a real competitor to Nintendo and Sega in the 90s. Now for the second one in the series, Cortex Strikes Back from 1997. More moves, more polish, some great pads. Crash is back, and this time Cortex is pretending to be a good guy. Spoiler, he's not. He tricks Crash into collecting power crystals to power a space station. It's basically the same plot as every 2000s cartoon villain. The gameplay is tighter, the controls smoother, and now you've got new moves like the slide, body slam, and double jump mechanic that made Crash feel way more agile. As a bonus, you also get polar bear riding levels. Sales for this game, over 4 million copies sold. A big success, critics and fans saw it as a major upgrade from the original. Now for the last one in the series, Warped from 1998. Time travel, jet skis, and Coco finally gets the controller. The third and most beloved entry in the original trilogy, Cortex is now working with a new villain, Uka Uka. He's the evil version of Aku Aku, and the Bandicoots travel through time to stop his world-ending scheme. You get vehicle levels, time trial relics, and levels set in everything from medieval castles to underwater cities to Egypt. Oh, and yes, you can ride a baby dinosaur and a jet jet ski in the same game. This game had style, variety, and sass. Now for the game sales. Over 5.7 million copies were sold worldwide. Critics hailed it as the most polished and fun Crash game to date, and it still holds up today. So for some facts, Sony never officially made Crash their mascot, but Naughty Dog designed him to compete with Sonic and Mario. He was their edgy, pants-wearing answer to the family-friendly Nintendo crew. The original devs didn't give Crash a voice because they didn't think he needed one. In Japan, Crash's game box art and commercials featured a totally different, some say cursed, version of Crash, with unsettling facial expressions and human teeth. You're welcome to the nightmares. So to break it down, Crash 1 from 1996, spinning, smashing, screaming, 6.8 million sold. Crash 2 from 1997, better gameplay, deeper levels, smoother platforming, 4 million sold. Crash 3 from 1998, time-traveling chaos, polished perfection, 5.7 million sold. Together they made Crash a PS1 legend and helped Naughty Dog climb the ladder to eventually give us Uncharted and The Last of Us. Now for some trophies. Box Smashing Expert, destroy 100 crates in one level. Spin Master, defeat an enemy using only the spin attack. One Life Wonder, finish a level with only one life left. That's a wrap. Complete the Boulder Dash level without dying. Secret Stash, find all hidden bonus levels in the game. Boxing the Box, complete a level without missing a single crate. And for the hardcore trophy collectors, Cortex's Nightmare, defeat Dr. Neo Cortex without taking a single hit in the final boss fight. Now for Crash 2, Slide Master, use the slide to defeat 10 enemies. I feel like this would be a fun one. Crash for the Save, complete a save point mission without dying. Perfect timing, use the body slam to defeat a group of enemies at once. Polar Bear Rider, complete the Polar Bear Ride level without falling off. Time for the last game in the series trophies, Time Traveler, complete a time travel level without dying. Jet Ski Pro, complete the jet ski level without triggering the mines. Coco's Got Game, complete a level using Coco instead of Crash. Relic Reaper, complete a level's time trial and earn a platinum relic. Aqua Attack, complete the underwater levels without dying. Full Relic Run, obtain every gold relic in the game. And Warped Warrior, defeat every boss in the game without using any power-ups. I feel like games used to be harder back in the day, so I feel like the trophies should reflect that. Now it's time for the final game I'll be talking about today, and that is Bishi Bashi Special. This game holds a special place in my heart. I played it a lot with my mom when I was a kid.
Attention.
So what is Bishi Bashi Special? Released in 1997 by Konami, Bishi Bashi Special is an arcade party game that is totally wild. It's all about mini-games where up to 4 players complete in wacky challenges using the buttons and controls in the most absurd ways imaginable. The game is designed for quick, chaotic, and hilarious fun, with mini-games ranging from pressing buttons to swinging controllers in weird, exaggerated ways. Think of it as a primitive version of WarioWare, but much zanier. Gameplay consists of a series of randomly selected mini-games that test everything from hand-eye coordination to react time. Whether you're hitting the buttons in a rhythm or hammering away at a game's show-style buzzer, it's impossible not to burst out laughing. Now for the sales, Bishi Bashi Special wasn't exactly a massive hit in the West, but it became a cult classic, especially among those who love quirky arcade games. It sold decently in Japan, where party games were, and still are, incredibly popular, but it didn't quite make a huge impact globally. The exact sales numbers aren't readily available, but it definitely had a strong presence in arcades. If you're looking for a wacky arcade experience with a dash of nostalgia, please try this game. Now for some trivia. Did you know that Bishi Bashi Special was so popular in Japanese arcades that arcade cabinets featuring the game were sometimes installed in game centers specifically for partygoers? That's a level of dedication you don't see too often outside of Japan. The soundtrack is just 90s arcade chiptune madness. It matches the chaotic energy of the gameplay. It's memorable in the sense that you'll never forget the zany soundtracks. So the PlayStation part of this game actually had new minigames that were not present in the arcade version. I feel like this game could benefit a lot from adding trophy support and being featured on the PS Premium service. Now time for some trophy ideas. Button Masher Extraordinaire. Press a button in a minigame more than 100 times in a single round. Synchronize Fish Swimmer. Successfully complete the fish swimming minigame without missing a beat. One Man Show. Win a minigame by yourself in a 2-player match. Who needs teammates? Super Speedster. Complete a speed-based minigame in under half the time allotted. The Ultimate Hammer. Complete the Hammer Time minigame without missing a single target. Quick Reflexes. Achieve a perfect score in any reflex-based minigame. Master of Minigames. Complete all minigames in the game at least once. 4 players full chaos. Play a full match with 4 players winning at least one minigame each. So if you've not played Bishi Bashi Special, what are you waiting for? And this is a message to PlayStation 2. You should add this to the collection, please. So, there was my list of PS1 games that should get released by PlayStation with trophy support. I hope you liked my video and some of the ideas I had for the trophies. If you liked the video, please subscribe and tell me about some PS1 games that I might be sleeping on. If this video does well, I'll make a list for PS2 games too, so please get your likes and subscribes in. Thanks for watching again and catch you in the next video. Bye!